The cafeteria smelled of bleach and burnt coffee, a silence hanging heavier than the steam rising off the trays. Every eye in that grey room turned toward the new guy. He walked in without a word, hands tucked behind his back, his orange jumpsuit a little too clean. A tray slid from the counter into his hands. He nodded, polite, almost respectful, which in this place was the fastest way to become prey. The gang at the far table noticed. 4 men, muscles like armor, tattoos carved in stories no one dared to read. Their leader, a man everyone called Rex, leaned back with a smirk that could start a riot. "Hey, fresh meat," Rex called. "You forgot to bow." The new inmate didn't answer. He just sat, far end of the table, quiet. That silence, it stung more than any insult. Rex grabbed his milk carton, shook it once, and poured it slowly over the man's head. White streaks ran down the newcomer's face and jumpsuit, dripping onto the metal table. The cafeteria roared. Trays slammed. Some laughed. Others froze, waiting. But the man didn't move. Not a twitch, not even a blink. He set his fork down carefully, then turned his gaze toward Rex. Eyes calm, but something behind them. Something cold. For the first time, Rex's grin faltered. The new guy said softly, "You shouldn't have done that." And just like that, he stood and walked out, slow, deliberate, leaving a trail of milk and silence behind. Whispers started before the door even shut. "Who is he?" "Transfer from upstate." Somebody said he's in protective custody. By dinner, rumors had grown teeth. By night, the entire block knew one name: Ghost. Nobody remembered him arriving. No paperwork, no backstory. Just a quiet man with steady eyes who didn't belong in any gang, yet somehow scared all of them. That night, the warden watched from his office camera feed. A man used to chaos, used to fear, but this one unsettled even him. "Find out who he is," he told the guard. "Every file, every alias." The guard hesitated. "Sir, we already tried." "There's nothing on him." The warden's fingers tapped the desk. A long pause. "Then he's not a mistake. He's a message." Morning came with sirens and footsteps. A riot almost broke out over breakfast. And again, Ghost was in the middle of it, doing nothing. He was sitting there, eating quietly, as 2 inmates nearly tore each other apart beside him. When the guards rushed in, both men were already down, no marks, no explanation. Ghost's tray was empty. The guards looked at him. He looked back, no threat, no fear. Just calm. And that calm felt louder than violence. Rex couldn't take it anymore. He gathered his crew that afternoon in the rec yard, a cracked basketball court surrounded by fences that hummed with power. "He's making us look weak," Rex said. "Tonight we end it." The others hesitated. They'd seen the security tapes. Ghost never fought, never struck back. Yet every conflict near him ended the same way. People broken, frightened, silent. But Rex needed control. And control here came through blood or fear. That night, the lights flickered. Power cut in C block. Darkness swallowed the hallways. 5 inmates moved like shadows toward Ghost's cell. Inside, Ghost sat on his bunk, reading a torn Bible with no cover. His lips moved silently. Maybe a prayer, maybe a memory. The cell door creaked open. Rex's voice whispered, "You should have kept your head down, old man." Ghost looked up. His expression didn't change. "Funny," he said quietly. "I was thinking the same thing." Then the lights came back on. Guards running, alarms screaming, chaos again. But when it ended, Ghost was still sitting, untouched. The others, gone. The official report said, altercation. No one believed it. 2 days later, Ghost was summoned to the warden's office. The warden leaned back, studying him like a puzzle. "You've got half the prison terrified. I should put you in solitary." Ghost smiled faintly. "You won't. Why not? Because you called me here alone. The warden's eyes narrowed. Who are you? Ghost tilted his head, almost kindly. You already know. A beat of silence. Then the warden exhaled. Slow, resigned. You shouldn't have come back. Ghost's gaze lowered. You left me no choice. The story started years before. Different city, different name. Ghost had once been someone else, a quiet man who took out the trash for people who didn't want to get their hands dirty. His real name never appeared on paper, only whispers in police files that never reached trial. But one day, a job went wrong. A family died that shouldn't have. A child that wasn't supposed to be there. He'd disappeared after that, not to escape the law, but himself. And somehow he ended up here, inside a prison where monsters wore uniforms and sins were currency. The warden's voice softened. You came back for redemption? No, Ghost said. I came back to finish something. What? Ghost looked at him, eyes sharp as glass. You. That night the cameras in the control room glitched again, static rolling over every screen except one, the warden's office. On that feed, two silhouettes stood face to face. Words were exchanged, quiet, heavy, final. Then the feed went black. When the system rebooted, the office was empty. The warden was gone. Ghost's cell, too. They searched for days. Dogs, helicopters, state patrol. Nothing. It was as if he'd dissolved into thin air. Weeks passed. A new warden took over. The old one's disappearance was labeled escape attempt gone wrong. Case closed, but the inmates whispered differently. They said Ghost still walked the halls at night. That sometimes, when the lights flickered, you could see him sitting in the cafeteria, clean jumpsuit, untouched tray, waiting. Months later, a letter arrived at a small police station in another state. No return address. Inside, just one line. Written in neat handwriting. Justice isn't always behind bars. And under it, a fingerprint, burned into the paper. Narrator's voice drops low, final. They thought he was another inmate, another target. But Ghost wasn't there to serve time. He was there to end it. Some men come to prison to pay for what they've done. Others come to balance the scales. And somewhere between guilt and vengeance, a man without a name found his peace, not by escaping the walls around him, but by erasing the ones inside.